Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit more about yesterday's draw against Celta Vigo, in which it doesn't really feel like a draw. It more feels like a defeat. It feels like two draw points rather than 1 point gained. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Everything is posted down below in the description. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, let's get straight into the video. All right, guys, let's get straight into the video and let's look at some of Hansi Flick's words after yesterday's match in the press conference. And he starts off by saying, "We made many mistakes and we need to talk about them to make a change. We need to recover and look ahead. The point is the best thing about today. No one is happy. Everyone can play better." He continues on. He says, "It's difficult to play against Celta, and we weren't very focused. Maybe we thought it would be easy to win, but it's not. The draw is the result of the entire match. Bad passes, loss of possession, and poor decisions. We win together and lose the 2 points together." He continues on. He says, "To win, we must be at 100%. 80% or 90% won't be enough." So he reiterates the intensity that is needed to play at Barcelona and to win at the highest level. Hansi Flick continues on and he says, "Will this match influence the Champions League? No." And the last quote, he says, "We had a bad game, not just the final 10 minutes. I didn't like the whole performance. We did too many mistakes. We did not control the ball. We must return to our level." And we briefly talked about it in yesterday's match reaction. If you guys have missed that, go make sure to check it out. But we did discuss, is this performance going to dictate Barcelona's level for the next upcoming weeks? Is this, a cause for greater concern? Or is this just, a bad blip? Because we had a bad blip against Real Sociedad, but now this is, back-to-back losses. And, Barcelona right now, after having such an amazing month in October, we've, sort of regressed a little bit, whether that be to fatigue, to absences, for example, in Lamine Yamal, or a drop in performance. Those are all things that we can debate about and discuss. But something that, Hansi Flick is right about is that we did have a bad game. But even though I don't want to be too critical about the team, because even though we had a bad game, we could have won it. If Rafinha, he scores that chance that he had in which he did hit the post, it could have been a 3-0. But I'm not blaming Rafinha because I thought he was one of the better players on the day. But I would say it was a lapse in concentration from Barca. Our performance has dipped, and we do need to play better. But I do want to talk about Frenkie De Jong, guys, because Frenkie De Jong yesterday, when he did come on as a replacement for Gavi, who I thought Gavi had a fantastic game, talking about a player coming back from a 1-year injury. I thought Gavi, he put in a very, very good shift for how long he was gone. And when you compare his performances and his performance to the performance of Frenkie De Jong, who has been fit, let's keep in mind, let's remember, for the past couple of weeks / month or two, Frenkie De Jong needs to be doing a whole lot better. What Frenkie De Jong is unacceptable, because his level, his intensity, his desire, his hunger in the game was non-existent. Now, I want to show you this very briefly, guys, because I can't show you the entire thing. Let me just mute that right there. But when you look at this action in Celta Vigo's second goal right here, you can see Frenkie De Jong just ball watching right here. When you look at the action right here, Frenkie De Jong is the closest player to Alvarez. But who is the first one to react? It's Héctor Fort. And right here, fine. Héctor Fort, he gets there first. Have a reaction. Why are you ball watching in this situation? You're just ball watching right here, and you allow him, Alvarez, to get in a great position. And the play, it starts off from all the way in the back. When we look at the back of the sequence of play, you see this right here. It's just there isn't intensity in Frenkie De Jong's play. And let's say, hey, fine, this is a one-off occasion. No, Frenkie De Jong throughout his 20 minutes or so in which he was on the pitch, he was doing multiple instances like that, and he was losing the ball, and he wasn't carrying the ball great. It's just there wasn't any hunger from Frenkie De Jong. And if you're the captain of the club, you need to be an example. How is it that Gavi, a player who's been out for a year he comes out with more intensity than yourself, and you've been fit for the past couple of weeks. How is that the case? It's been unacceptable from Frankie De Jong. And I understand, for example, if you're not at the level required to play at Barcelona, your performances aren't there. Maybe your touch, your match sharpness isn't as a 100%, knowing that you've been out for so long. But the basic necessity is hunger, is effort. When Frankie De Jong is out there on the pitch, he shows zero effort, and it's frustrating because there was a quote that was emerging on social media that's saying when Frankie De Jong comes out onto the pitch, Xavi's Barça comes back. And that is shambolic. It's shameful. It's embarrassing because Frankie De Jong is a player who was one of the most expensive players in the squad, and yet he's held to such high regard, and his performances as of late have not been reflective of that. And after there is justification from the Barcelona fan base, putting comments in Frankie De Jong's social media profile and in his Instagram profile saying out, get out my club, rubbish captain. Now I don't, for example, I understand this, but I don't condemn it because you're actively targeting the player. But I do understand the frustration from the Barcelona fan base. Say leave my club, get out of Barca. You are so bad. I understand that frustration from the Barcelona fan base, and I want to see better from Frankie De Jong, man. We do need to see more of him. And if this continues, then it's just going to be a toxic end to this relationship between Barcelona and Frankie De Jong, man. And I really hope that he's able to turn things around because, one of the minimum and the bare minimum things that you have to do is show intensity, show effort. And that was non-existent in yesterday's match. He was a passenger. It was really, really poor from Frankie De Jong. But I do want to now talk about a positive in Héctor Fort, because Héctor Fort yesterday, he did come on for Gerard Martin, who also did not have a greatest of games. But I would at least say that of Gerard Martin, he was at least running. He was at least, having effort. And Héctor Fort, he did come on for Gerard Martin in the second half. And because of his solid performance, and who I honestly think who should be the replacement for Koundé and Alejandro Balde when they aren't able to play, Hansi Flick now views him as the main alternative to both of these players. And that is fantastic news. I think Héctor Fort, he has earned the right to be, the alternative for both Jules Koundé and Alejandro on both flanks. I think his performances, not only yesterday but last season as well, has earned them that. And I'm glad that Hansi Flick is looking and thinking the same thing. I think Héctor Fort can add a lot of value to this team. And you did see Barcelona be more solid defensively, when Héctor Fort came on. But it's such a shame that with that red card from Marc Casadó, in which we talk about Marc Casadó's words after the match, and he says, "I would like to apologize to the team and to the fans. Every decision is made in a split second, and today's decision was clearly not the correct one. We will continue to work hard for what is left. Visca el Barça." And I like how he takes a responsibility and accountability for his mistake. But I understand that you're basically the last line of defense. In that action, if he does not commit that foul, Moriba is through. And it's a little bit different than that from maybe the Araujo one against PSG or the Eric Garcia against Monaco, because that is very early in the game. This is, in the last couple of minutes of the game. You weren't expecting Barcelona to collapse like that and be scored on in 2 minutes, basically, from your red card and everything. But takeaways from yesterday's matches, guys, is that Barcelona, they are going to have to do better. But I don't want to paint everything as a negative picture of Barcelona. I would still say be confident in this team, be confident in the work that Hansi Flick is doing. We've seen, how great we've been in the month of October and those big wins against Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. I still have faith in this team. I'm not saying Hansi Flick out or anything like that. But we do have to know that we do have to put our heads down and continue to work. Nothing has been won yet, and we do need to focus. But looking at Frenkie De Jong, for example, looking at other players such as Gerard Martin, they need to do better. It's unexcusable the level of performances that they are putting in. And I want to signal out Frenkie De Jong right here for a bit, because you are the captain. You need to be a figure for this team. And if you're showing lack of effort as the captain and and as the role and the figure of this team, then what example are you giving to the other players, man? And in regards to Marc Casadó, you see how big of an impact he's basically the glue holding the team. And I don't know if it's worry or cause of concern, knowing for next weekend his absence, that could be detrimental, but hopefully it isn't the case. But guys, definitely let me know your guys' thoughts down below. What are your guys' sensations, feelings after yesterday's match? And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys.